Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and as we've been, everybody's been showing that Bloomberg clip where Brad Garlinghouse was asked if somebody would buy Ripple, and I went back and I just bumped into this video today. Here's a clip where Brad Garlinghouse is addressing whether his company would be a buy or the buy E.
I saw an interesting move you guys did. You bought back your round C shares at a higher valuation than what they were at the moment. What was the rationale behind that?
So we did a Series C financing, I'm going to try to get my dates right here, in 2019, in the Q4 of 2019, and we raised $200 million from a series of investors. When we negotiated that, we had pre-negotiated the ability to repurchase that up to a certain period of time for 1.5x the issuance. So we repurchased all of the Series C back from our investors because we thought it was a good investment. We thought that was accretive to all of our other shareholders. As you mentioned or you asked, we have been profitable and cash flow positive, so we're able to use that. So we've repurchased north of $500 million of Ripple shares over the past couple of years, including that financing.
And you mentioned you're cash flow positive, but also, are you looking for further outside funding at this point, whether it be for an extra cash injection or at least just a strategic sort of investment as well?
We aren't actively looking. We haven't needed to do that. We have a very strong balance sheet, and even as we look at the future, we feel good about that. I do think there will be opportunities, and I think there'll be an uptick in M&A in the blockchain and crypto space. We haven't seen that yet, but I think that's likely in the future, and I certainly think as that unfolds, we would consider things like that.
In terms of buying companies or being bought out?
We're now at a stage of growth where I think we're more likely to be the buyer versus the buyee or seller.
Yeah, but you haven't found the acquisition targets at this point, or?
So there you have it. Now, if you're interested in the Ripple, the buyer, not the buyee, private equity, then my sponsor Link2 has it. You can go to linqto.com. It's private equity, accredited investors. You can also download the Link2 app. Check this out. Now, this is interesting. I want you to listen. Any of you who have lived through the Ripple lawsuit and all of this, I want you to listen to this. This 2 minutes and 30 seconds is fascinating, and then I'm going to follow it up with some things that the Ripple CEO has said and the chairman.
What ends up happening is that a lot of entrenched economic interests fight the technology because it's easier to fight the technology in court than to actually try to improve your systems internally. That's or right. To try to take advantage of certain technology. Right. So a classic example is my industry, the book industry. Amazon comes around and the publishers are like, nobody's going to buy books online. Like this guy, Jeff, who's this Jeff in Seattle, who's creating this site, Amazon. What the hell kind of name is Amazon anyway? It has nothing to do with books. What do you know? Amazon eats their lunch, right? Amazon decides to develop a little device. It's called the Kindle. What is Jeff Bezos' vision? In one of the books that's written about this period, he describes wanting to be able to hand a Wall Street Journal reporter a device and they'd be able to download any book in the planet and they'd be able to get it right away. And he's like, that should be what we were able to do. In the book industry, many publishers who could have built this technology, Barnes & Noble, other people, it's never going to work. Yeah. People like the physical book. That's where the money's at. Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah. And Kindle, there are certain Kindle books that only sell on Kindle. They don't sell anywhere else. Right. Particularly, by the way, romance and romantasy. Yeah. Because on a Kindle, you can hide what you're reading. And when you're holding a physical book that has some very provocative cover, you can't hide it, right?
Interesting.
And so a lot of people ask, why does romance sell so well on Kindle? Yeah, because we all want to hide the stuff that we're into, right? And hey, to each his own. Yeah. Let people can enjoy whatever they want to enjoy. But the idea of technology ruining or ruining an ecosystem. It's what the publishers said.
Yeah.
And it turns out not to be true.
Yeah.
And by the way, the way I know it's not true is because as an author, about a third of my sales are Kindle, about a third of my sales are audiobook, and about a third of my sales are physical book.
Yeah.
Do I care? Not really. Right? And like the publisher might care because they might make less money on the Kindle, which is why they fought Amazon, they sued them, they tried all these things. I am simply happy that a site like Amazon exists where somebody like you could go and buy my books easily, right? And so you're right about the thesis, which is there are entrenched economic interests that battle these technologies, but they are fighting rearguard actions. They literally are like trying to stuff the genie back in the bottle, where they're like, no. Don't buy a Kindle, Robert. Don't buy a Mind to Play on Kindle. Just buy it in hardcover. We'll sue Amazon. Everything will be fine. And it's like, no, because revealed preference is very real, and people will simply have a Kindle and then want to buy a book for $10 on a Kindle. And I'm sorry, but it's just something the world.
So you see how this game works. Here's Brad Garlinghouse comparing Ripple to Amazon. This is at Coin Agenda Caribbean in 2021.
So first of all, I appreciate you asking the question that way. A lot of people still conflate Ripple and XRP. Ripple is a company of which I'm the CEO. XRP is an open source technology that lots of people participate in. Ripple cares a lot about the XRP ecosystem, but there are a lot of people that do. Ripple, the way I would describe it is simply we are the leading enterprise blockchain company, period, full stop. My viewpoint is there are lots of use cases for blockchain technologies in the enterprise. Knowing how to sell into, knowing how to engage from a customer success point of view and get enterprises using blockchain technologies to improve the efficiency of lots of different kinds of transactions. We're just at the beginning of that journey. Ripple started with cross-border payments and selling into financial institutions. We now have hundreds of financial institutions. We've done millions and millions of transactions, billions and billions of dollars. But I do view it as an enterprise blockchain company as opposed to just payments. I was talking with a gentleman named Jose back here in the back about the ecosystem that Ripple's really creating around other enterprise use cases. And there's a lot going on. And I think Ripple is in a position that I compare to Amazon circa 1997, where Amazon at those age, which you and I will remember, it wasn't Amazon, it was Amazon Books. The name of the company was Amazon Books, and it competed with Borders and Barnes & Noble. Today, obviously, it does lots of things. I think of Ripple, our first vertical, the books is to cross-border payments for Ripple.
And for XRP, how would you say that?
Look, I mean, for me, we use XRP not just because we own a lot of it. We also use XRP because from a payments point of view, it's extremely fast. A transaction settles in 3 to 4 seconds. It's extremely inexpensive. You're talking about 1/1000th of a penny. And it scales very well. And so if you're talking about $120 trillion of cross-border payments, a lot of the different digital assets out there, it would be hard to use them for that use case.
All right, and then this was Chris Larson.
But I think it does help for the long-term vision to be very well resourced. We have about 170 people in our company. We do hold tens of billions of dollars in digital assets. And, frankly, I was really interested in something Jeff Bezos said recently on how he looks at his company. He says, lots of companies look 3 years in the future. And he says that's a crowded space. Everybody's planning for 3 years. He looks 7 years in the future, and there's not a lot of competition there. But to do that, you have to have founder control. You have to have somebody controlling the vision who can, frankly, stare down their investors, their board, and make the case that, nope, we need to stick with this for the long haul. That's really hard to do when founders don't have control. So I'd say if you're a founder, maintain control at all costs, and then also have as big a balance sheet as you can. Have as much resources as you can so you can, be successful like an Amazon and get through the winters and get through the deserts that are always going to be there. These are good times now, but that could change in an instant. And having lots of resources is really helpful to having impact.
Okay, then we've got this. Crazy Michael Saylor says Microsoft can make next $1 trillion by investing treasury in Bitcoin. Now today at 12 o'clock, I'm going to try my best to be in this spaces. It says, this is from Empower. They're the ones that sued the SEC, and eventually there was going to be an OIG report or investigation into Bill Hinman. We need your help to ensure the SEC OIG investigation into Bill Hinman sees the light of day. Join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern time, to hear what you can do. So I'm going to try to, let me set a reminder. Can I even do that? Yeah. Reminder set. Says we also have some guests tomorrow. Fruition Films' Chris Dodge, director of XRP Unleashed, who will join the beginning to talk about their upcoming premiere, and we hear an exciting new trailer for the documentaries dropping tomorrow. Then Eleanor Terrett scooped Pennsylvania House passes bipartisan bill to bring regulatory clarity to digital assets. The move comes amid uncertainty over crypto. Crypto regs at federal level. Bill passed 176 to 26 majority, including 76 Dems and all 100 Republicans. Okay, I think I'm going to hold. I've got one thing on a Ripple executive I'm going to cover. I've got something. I got a couple more things, but also I'm going to show you what people are saying could be the imminent. I think there's 5 days left in the October, maybe 6 or 7 days left in the October surprise window. Days left, okay? And this is one of the things that could be the surprise. But first we're going to talk some more Ripple XRP. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.